You're listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 34. On today's episode, we discuss This Week in Music and episode 4 of Girls Planet 999. So sit back and chill with friends. You're listening to the after show with the SojuTalk Nation. Welcome to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, a chill discussion on this week in the SojuTalk Nation. We're recording on Wednesday, September 1st, 2021. I'm your host, Crispy, and joining me today are three guests to help me talk about This Week in Music: Malfiar to discuss Eunbi with Door, and Ara to discuss CL with Spicy, and JB with By the Way BTW. Ara also continues on to talk about the Spice chart this week. And a little bit later on, Priss comes on to join to talk Girls Planet 999 episode 4. So a very guest-heavy, packed episode this week. But I wanted to get different points of view on different topics and musicians this week. So I mixed things up, and hopefully the conversation is fun and keeps you interested, because I think we go in a lot of different directions with a lot of different points of view. Some announcements this week: Soju Sessions drops Friday on YouTube, Spotify, all podcast platforms. Turn on your notifications, don't miss it. This week it's Therese, and she and I go on a journey, on an adventure. We deep dive into JB's solo album, Somo Fume. All right, let's get right into it with This Week in SojuTalk Music. First up is Malfiar. Joining the after show this week to discuss the solo debut from Eunbi with Door, the one and only and enormous IZ*ONE fan, Malfiar. Welcome to the show, Malfiar.
Hi, welcome for having me back. I love it.
Of course. All right, so Eunbi drops her solo debut last week, and I figured I could talk about it a bit, but I know that there are a number of IZ*ONE fans who love and adore Eunbi and this song, and I figured to get you on here to get your perspective and point of view. So first impressions, Mal, what did you think about the song? What did you think about the debut? And what did you think about the presentation all around?
So I was really excited to see Eunbi's solo debut. Just like Doug had said before, that I'd been thinking that she would be able to go solo for ages. I thought that was going to be like the best path for her to go. To be completely honest with the song, when I first actually woke up in the morning and listened to it, I didn't really like it the very first time that I listened to it. But there are reasons for that I'm sure we'll get into in a bit. But I was just really excited. She's my second favorite member of the group. I adore the girl. I'm just glad to finally see somebody from IZ*ONE doing music again, now that they're sadly over.
It does kind of feel like a quick turnaround, that the group ended and then Eunbi's here, which is kind of great because it keeps the momentum going. I do want to get your perspective on the music itself. So the main show did mention a roaring 20s type of pop inspiration. The brass was not something that they particularly liked, but her vocals, I think, did carry. Just like you, when I first listened to it and I watched the music video, it didn't hit me right away, but after watching it several times over the past few days, it's grown on me. I do like it. But yes, just from your experience with it over the past week, what about the song stood out to you?
So I completely avoided the teasers when it was initially going to be coming out, because I didn't want to build up any sort of expectations of what to think for the song. But through just being on social media, I saw people saying jazzy swing, early Broadway sort of feel. So that made me kind of excited but kind of worried. because I either really like that stuff or I really hate it. Um, it's rarely anything in between. Um, but when I first listened to it, that like I liked a lot of it, just like the crew did. But it was just like them initially. That brassy chorus just was not hitting for me. But then maybe like an hour later, like it was just stuck in my head, and I was like, "Oh crap, here we go." And
It,
then I was just like in love with it.
it's very earwormy.
Yes.
It gets there. I did have hesitations at first, but then just just having the song play over and over, it's like, all right, I hear it. I hear it now. Let's get into kind of what the crew thought about the song. So Doug did start with a big sigh before his bit, but they eventually got to a place where they did like a lot of the concepts. I did really like the glitz and glamour, like visual aspect of her styling and the set. But what was it about the crew's discussion that stood out to you?
Um, the Doug's reaction to it on there was pretty much me at one point. Like spot on. Um, as usual with Warren, him and I tend to just not agree on the stuff and the people that I actually like. I even sent him some like the Hyunjin knife emojis in the morning, um, just talking and stuff. Uh, but yeah, like that brassy chorus, just like they were saying, was not initially it for me until suddenly it was. Uh, and it was very playful and kind of sexy at times, but also cute, just which very fitting for Eunbi because she's very much that way. Where one second she'll be like that super cute kid rabbit, and then the next second she's like trying to come for your neck.
A lot of charm stood out in this music video, and the way that she was characterized. Was there anything about the visual cues or the story that kind of played out? I wasn't too keen on following a story, but it kind of did feel like she was in and out of either a stage or kind of in a surreal fantasy kind of world. But it did all just fit her and did a nice job highlighting her visual aspect and the styling. Was there anything that stood out to you in that respect?
He did say during her debut stages that the music video took a lot of inspiration from Alice in Wonderland. So I'm sure you noticed like she had those bedazzled rabbit ears early on in the video and throughout several other points. So there's like lots of little nods back to that, which is also just a little funny. It's a little nod back to IZ*ONE as well because she was always called like the bunny leader and stuff like that. And if you look on social media, whenever people are posting stuff with her that she said, like they always use the bunny emoji. That's like her like designated emoji for Wiz ones. Um, but it also kind of shows like an interesting story. I think maybe I'm just pulling the English literature people and looking a little deep into it, but just like in Alice in Wonderland, everything's kind of not how it seems. It's all familiar, but it's different, and it's just like me. And there's some irony in the song title being "Door" because in a way she's opening a new door for her career. It's still the Eunbi that we know and recognize from IZ*ONE, but now she's on her own journey.
I love what you said about the familiarity with the song because I think visually a lot of similar cues, even similar song feeling. Even though the brass may be a little bit too much, I do get a little bit of IZ*ONE sense. And then Warren,
I totally believe this could have been an IZ*ONE title track if IZ*ONE had
yeah,
still been around, and I would have not batted an eye at it.
yeah, I think so too. I think they would have been able to pull a lot of different vocal variations to give it that IZ*ONE flair. But with this being an Eunbi song, I think it works really well. And it was kind of cool that Warren went into the producer credits about the duo on previous IZ*ONE songs. With that said, and kind of the conversation that the crew went into about Eunbi being an extension of IZ*ONE sound, how do you feel like that should be? How do you feel like that direction should go moving forward?
I would like to see it. But, I do agree that very much she sounds like an extension of how iZone was sounding towards the end of their time. And it's not a bad idea to play into that. Now, obviously, they can't make it like her sole thing, but that familiarity just makes people more comfortable. It keeps the people who had been around for the group. It keeps their eyes on her, and that's what they want. And she's doing a good job of it so far. And I would love to continue to hear this. I would love to continue seeing her have credits on her albums. She had composition and lyric credits on at least two of the songs in her debut mini album, including her title track. Um, I would love to continue seeing that because she's been a part of music for so long and does so much stuff. She wrote and composed for iZone as well. She knows what she's doing. They need to trust her.
She's definitely getting the spotlight now and being center stage as a soloist, and a lot of things point in the right direction for her as far as this release and kind of the reception for the song, right? Mal, this was a great deep dive into Eunbi. I love hearing your points of view about anything IZ*ONE. Closing thoughts. What do you think about just anything that you want to talk about, whether it's the song, whether it's the mini album, anything you want to close on today?
I want to take a few moments and talk about the choreo. Did you watch any of like the performance stages or the performance music video that dropped yesterday?
I saw a few stages. I didn't get a chance to see the performance choreo that you mentioned, but I did see some stages over the past few days. Yes.
The only thing that I've been like really upset with for the music video is that they didn't show enough of the freaking choreography. That choreography is so good and they don't display it as much as they should in the music video. And it makes me so mad.
Yeah, no, they do cut around it quite a bit. The lift was very
They don't even like that huge lift. They don't even show all of it. They have two different cuts in the middle of that awesome lift, and I'm just like, why? Why did you do that?
It does leave you wanting more in the music video. That's for sure. I do remember now. Anita did allude to it, but then when I thought about what she said, it's like, wait, was that a big part of the music video? I don't actually remember.
No, it's like a blink, like because they don't fully show it. It's you blink and you miss it. But like when they in her actual performances, that's such a huge moment.
Yeah, I think that's where my memory was pulling from because did watch the stages. Like, yeah, I remember the lift, but primarily because of the live performances. Yeah, that's a great dancer all around. I think the stages.
She was a main dance. She was a main dancer in IZ*ONE for a reason, and then they do this, and like when she's doing the coolest stuff in her choreo, they don't even bother to show it in full.
Yeah. Go check out the stages if you haven't, because I think those stages do a nice job of highlighting the choreo. Was there anything else about the choreo that stood out to you?
It's very Eunbi in that it's like both cute and sexy at times, and I hate her for doing that to me.
She just wrecks everyone emotionally, psychologically. Yeah, all those things. All those things that make us very fragile people. Eunbi does a nice job of, and you know what, we commend her for that because like you said, she's been in the game for a long time. She is on the older side of the IZ*ONE members, but it's kind of nice to have her shine on her own now. I think it does bode well moving forward with everything else.
Check out the rest of her mini album because like it is genuinely great. Rain and Eternity at the end, her two ballad songs on the album. Oh my goodness. They hurt my heart. And yeah, like Amigo and Blue Eyes are just like Blue Eyes. She has choreo for she did during her debut showcase, and Amigo has Baby Soul from Lovelies. Like they're just all great songs, and I would love for more people to just check it out.
No, I do love that she got a full mini album to start everything off because it allows people into Eunbi's music and allows more time and space to really let her breathe as far as an artist. So
if you're a WizOne, be careful if you look at the lyrics for Rain and Eternity. It hurts.
Yeah, just hearing those titles seem like there should be some emotional preparation before going into that. So No, Malfiar, this was amazing. I do always appreciate having you on and talking about music and going a little bit deeper, as well as reacting to Warren because, you know, conflict is kind of fun sometimes. Um, Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say before we head out today?
Vote for Shu Xian on Girls Planet 999.
Let's
That's all.
go. Let's go. All right, Mal. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. And, we'll have you on again in the future for more deep dives on very specific artists.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Welcoming to the show this week to talk about the rest of the releases on this very spicy episode of SojuTalk Nation, the after show, is Ara. Welcome to the show, Ara.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, so Malfiar and I just got done talking about Eunbi and Door with her solo debut. Wanted to give you a few minutes to talk about your thoughts, opinions, and feelings, and how the crew reacted to the song. So, what did you think about Eunbi and Door for her solo debut?
Um, so I watched the music video, and honestly, I don't really mind the chorus. But I feel like it grows very stale. Like I don't really find myself engaging with the song, or like it's like playing at the back. I don't really like think of anything when I listen to it. But I did have one comment. Like I think the the music video is really nice, but that there's one particular outfit. I think it's like she's in like lavender, like this lavender dress, and it's like a flowing one, but only up to her knees. And I was like, what was the stylist thinking? Because everything else, like her outfits were so good, and then that one dress was just horrible.
I'm trying to picture it in my head because I do. So, like, thematically, all the dresses were very much in the roaring 20s, like vintage, like
Hmm.
longer, like showcase dresses. But I do think there were a few.
It was like, like the like it's just there's no shape to it. It's just like a round dress. Like it's just flowing, and then when you twirl, like it actually goes round. It
Oh,
was like
okay.
that type of dress, but like crimped material.
I got to go back into this, but I
Yeah.
will say if I don't remember it, it's because it didn't fit the theme to me, and that might be
Yeah.
a problem if you noticed. Then that was like one that popped out as like, ooh, that one kind of didn't work. So
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
be
everything else was really nice. Her outfits were so pretty, and
yeah,
then like the in the music video when she's in the fields with the butterflies and everything, that was really nice too.
yeah, a lot of really nice glamour shots and just like very pretty showcasing her visual.
Mhm.
A lot of like whimsical angel feel to it, but yeah, I gotta check out that dress again because that does sound a little spicy. Um, but speaking of spicy,
Yes.
you and I are very big fans of this woman, this
Yes,
powerful
we are.
woman. CL is back with Spicy after 2 years, about 2 years of releasing singles, mixtapes, music project type things. We got a proper single. We get a stage. We get promotions. All right, hit me. What do you think about this song? What do you think about Spicy? What do you think about the aura, the energy, the power that is CL?
It is just amazing. I missed her so much. Like, okay, so her previous pre-releases, as she calls it, like Hua and like Five Star, were obviously amazing, but I think it wasn't um it was different from her previous stuff. And this Spicy was she just went right back on track. So I really enjoyed it. I think her outfits and her stage presence is just so great. Um, yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, I think everything you said about Hua and Five Star and the mixtape that she released near the beginning of 2020, end of 2019, felt like it was all like a creative release.
An experiment. Yeah.
Of her just like trying to get through all the things that she's been wanting to do for so long and building up to this very like refined, I'm CL, I'm back, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even Hua did feel like she was building up to something because, like, the crown and, like, how, you know, like, Queen CL, right? So this definitely felt like a continuation of Hua, but this was more her compared to Hua.
Yeah, and I love the signature like CL like hook
Yeah,
that just like kills you, right? Where it's the
oh
you're
gosh.
rocking with the most fly Asians. It's like that is vintage. That's classic 2014, 15, whenever it was. Hello bitches. My God.
Yeah, so good.
Like I felt all that energy. I felt all that same charisma. Just like it really like sticks in your head. Like I can visualize every moment where she does that. The choreography where she's just leaning into the song, literally. Man.
So good.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was also thinking like how so basically this song is more she takes all her personality and everything from like Hello Bitches, but the outfits are from Hua and I love it because they're so her. Like especially I know she was wearing basically black the entire music video, but that one specific outfit where her shoulders so they were like extend I don't even know how to explain it, but it looked kind of like Batman. Her outfit looked like Batman and
like shoulder pads, right?
Yeah, but they were extended like up, not horizontally but vertically.
Yeah, I think CL's just amazing with that fashion forward like idea
so
of like trying to like encapsulate something very artistic. And I think they mentioned it on the main show. This is well they alluded to it briefly, but I think this is a really important moment for CL as an artist and also K-pop because Gen 4 kids who just started listening to K-pop 2-3 years ago have no idea this is what she's about. CL represented this for 10 years in K-pop. K-pop, general audience Korea, and K-pop. She was the bridge for all of this. She was popping off. That's why she has so much international allure, because she has made those connections. I mean, she has freaking John Malkovich in there as a gold statue doing the voiceover and then being actually part of the song. Like that's wild. Like to think of that, like I don't even know, like insane creative like incorporation of like another human being. And
she just has a lot of connections and they love it.
Yeah, and again, like the kind of going into like the fashion that you were talking about. This is the kind of fashion that CL was kind of experimenting with all the way back in 2010-11. And like you said, like we're getting a modern take on CL's fashion from Hello Bitches, but it's still distinctly her. If you go back to it,
it
it's
is so like, her.
There's so much parallel
so
to
her. Oh gosh. And I love this hair. I just wanted to mention, like, I know like her signature look is mostly like long hair, but short hair CL is something else. It's like a different vibe, a different bad bitch. I just so good.
All right, let's go into the hair a little bit. Hair styling, like everything. Okay, so we have short hair, which is what I think it's cut at, but she has like a million different wigs that do a ton of different things for her.
Yeah.
How do you feel like she's able to balance all those personas, or do you feel like it's all kind of just one CL expressed differently?
I definitely think it's one CL expressed differently because even when I think back, her previous, like, I think 5-star or what, I don't remember which one, but she also had short hair in that one, and then she used extensions in, like, when she was performing on shows. And I think it's like this, it's like the duality or, like, the multiple personality of it that just makes her so unique.
Yeah, she's definitely able to shine different elements of who she is,
Hmm.
and then also just incorporate so much different musical ability. Um,
Hmm.
Doug and Warren both listed off cameos that were in the music video. So we have
Yes.
Sokodomo, Omega Sapien, and Little Cherry. I
Yes.
think if your K-pop fans who just got into K-pop see that, just like, oh, cool, CL's friends. No, no, no.
No, these are.
In K-hip hop, these are the influential artists of, I don't even know, like over 5 years, maybe the past decade, right? Of just like different touch points in K-hip hop. What do you think about like her ability to bridge the gap between the two different genres and be accessible to everyone?
I think it's a great thing because she has that ability and she's using it like for the better because she's so popular, right? So if she has these features in and like not a lot of people know about these people, they're gonna go and search them and they're gonna get into K-hip hop. At least I hope they will. Um, and I really like that because there's so many different genres in Korean music that we should explore.
Yeah, it definitely opens up the world to these artists, to kids who may be curious as to why this super hard hitting female lyricist is on a music show stage. And I think we're all kind of for the better that CL is back, prominent and in everyone's living room.
We love it.
Laura, let's close this out. Any final thoughts that you have about this song, this music video, styling, CL, anything?
Um, Honestly, I'm just really looking forward to her album because I just know it's gonna be amazing. Yeah, really looking forward to who she has as features because yeah, it's gonna be K-pop, but at the same time, I know it's like she's definitely bridging the gap between K-hip hop and K-pop. So I want to see how different she does it, or like different ways.
All right, so I have two comments. One, I think her
Hmm.
boyfriend Ian is going to be there.
This is
Yes,
speculation. They have
everyone,
not.
everyone can hate me. That's fine. DPR Ian, her boyfriend. Yep.
We
Go.
love DPR Ian, okay? Like
Yeah, to the point where y'all
this man
hate
is
me
so
now,
hot.
so that's fine.
I do not. I don't hate you. I didn't say anything. I love him. I love him and CL.
You just want him to be
Power
happy.
couple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Power couple. And two, my other one, and just because I think he has the clout to just say F it to his company. Let's get some throwback. Let's get GD in this. Come on, let's get.
Yo, honestly, I was literally thinking about this and I was like, I need the GD and CL because I've been watching their live performances from like 2013 over and over again for so long that like I need new stages.
Yo, those stages hold up today. It's crazy.
They do. Like I'm not even kidding when I say that I watch them at least once every 2 weeks because
Yo,
I just
true fan, true fan. For the kids, GD is G Dragon of Big Bang, of YG, of Jenny and G Dragon. So
Jimmy and but
yeah,
G Dragon is like he's just so into like his art lately. Like, fam, give us some music, please.
yo, he's a weird art
We beg.
boy. He's this fashion icon weirdo right now. So I don't even
He
know.
is. I know. I've seen it. He doesn't even show his face on Instagram. Like, please, can you at least show us your face?
I don't know. He's so
Not asking for anything.
mysterious.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but for real, let's just manifest that and get the leaders 2.0 because
Yes.
that's kids, look that up. G Dragon and CL. Is it the leaders or leaders? One of those. You'll
It's
find
the
it.
leaders.
Yeah, it's
It's the one with them in the red outfits, guys. Watch it.
it says everything about that era and the dominance of Big Bang and 21, led by CL
Literally.
and G Dragon. All right, we fanboy enough about this. Let's move on to something a little bit more chill. A little bit groovy. We have JB with BTW. By the way, featuring J Park.
Mhm.
All right, this is an R&B track. The crew had some feelings, but let me start with you, Ara. What did you think about the song, and how did you feel the music video played for you?
Okay, so what I did was I actually listened to the song before I watched the music video. And on the song, or like while listening to it, I was like, yeah, okay, it's a good track, whatever. And then I watched the music video and I was like, okay, I I like J Park more in this music video than JB, which is not what the point of the track was. And I felt bad.
Yeah,
But yeah.
you know, the crew felt similarly. I think the song itself didn't have that lead single punch until J Park comes through.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this song was made for J Park, not JB.
Yeah. Teresa and I talked about this on a special episode of Soju Sessions. Check it out on Friday. JB right now has a really interesting relationship with his company and the creative control over his songs. Not in a sense of like conflict, but the production team has a little bit more say than perhaps he does, is what she was alluding to. And I think that's kind of the reason why this song, doesn't have that kind of impactful punch until J Park comes through. He kills it, and you get the prototypical flyboy, literally in a plane with the girls, zooming, cruising. See that those are the images that I remember from this music video.
I think, like when when Therese mentioned like the production thing, I think that's an issue for all higher releases though, not just JB. But for most higher artists, you can tell that this is their song, but for JB you can't, and that's the issue.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's also because it's his first release. They might want to have a little bit more control over how
maybe
it comes through.
Yeah. Also, maybe he's like trying to figure out like his style or like his signature.
Yeah. I think he's in the right direction because they did compare it to Bryson Tilla, SoundCloud Asian Boy style, like experimental R&B with trap, which I dig that a lot. And I went and listened to the EP. The song plays a lot better when you're playing it with all 6 of the songs. I know sometimes that's not the purpose of a song, a lead title, because most people aren't going to go into an EP. But I will just give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense of it plays really well when you kind of listen to it as a complete package. But as a single, yeah, I kind of agree. It kind of does the one note a little too chill. Yeah. Anita tried to, bring up the conversation a bit. What did you think about the pieces of dancing and choreography throughout the music video? Because he's a very good dancer, but it did kind of feel
I liked that both of them are like into b-boying, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, a little bit of b-boy, a little bit of breakdancing.
Yeah, it was really cute. And like, so I watched like a couple of like clips from their live performances, and it was just really fun to watch. Like, even though the song is just there, but their interaction and like their dancing is just really nice.
Yeah, I think overall, it's a weird word to attach to like a male song, but I think it's cute. I think it's just a cute song.
Yeah, it is. It's so cute. Like, especially like, in the music video when J Park is like his first appearance in the music video, how he's like just like sipping his champagne or whatever in like the hair. Like, I just thought it was so cute. Like, I didn't find him hot, but like it was just so cute and adorable.
Simp.
Tom.
Right here. You heard it here, everyone. Simp for J Park. But for real though, very cute song. Again, plays really well with an EP. As a lead single, perhaps missing a little something, but I do appreciate the crew kind of talking through the song and at least giving people an opportunity to decide for themselves. So shout out to the crew for holding it down on JB. And by the way, all right, let's move on to the Soju chart this week. Spice King. We have 3 songs on the chart. We had a very contentious chart. Let's just go through it. So at number 3, we have Eunbi with Door, CL with Spicy, and number 1 with crown number 2, Red Velvet with Queendom. All right.
Mhm.
So I have the breakdown. I gave you the breakdown for Doug, Anita,
Yeah.
Warren, and the homies. How do you think it played out?
I guess it was like kind of expected. I think. Like, I was expecting Red Velvet to be first. Spicy, I thought like maybe Doug or Anita wouldn't like it. And Eunbi, of course, because homies and like it's a debut song, like you can't really expect a lot. Yeah, so it was expected.
A little surprised Warren went with Eunbi instead of TXT, as opposed to Doug and Anita. TXT, that song is, I'm in a weird place with that song, because by itself, without any other competition, I really like that song. Same thing with Brave Girls, but then when I throw in the other releases, I'm just like, I think I like the other songs better, but I can't like get myself to like completely commit aside from maybe Red Velvet.
I'm
But
very biased, so
yeah, but for sure now, after like even more time with the CL song, because I submitted my votes Monday morning. 2 more days have passed. I actually think I would have put CL at 1 or 2. Now that I'm
Yeah.
like letting the song really sink in, and it's just one of those weird things where it's like it's timing, it's how much time you spent with the song and music. But pretty cool that CL is gonna hang around the charts a bit. And we'll see how the next week goes, because there are a couple bigger releases.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if CL had just more sticking power with Doug, because Doug always likes the hype stuff, and then Anita finding more details about the outfits and the choreography and the stages that really like tips it over for her to like keep it there and put it at 1. So yeah. Any other thoughts you had on the chart this week?
not really.
All right. Well, that does it for this week in Soju Talk Music. Let us know what you thought in the Soju Talk channel on Discord, SojuTalk Kpop Podcast. Yeah, we are there. It's popping off all the time. Let us know what you think. We're all relatively friendly, unless there's something to simp over, and then we are delusional. So, hello, hi. All right. So one quick bit of news. It was the only news subject that I really like listened to, that I heard. I kind of blacked out after they said it. Lalisa Manoban, we are here, September 10. That is 10 days from today. So very hyped. I'm not listening to any teasers. I'm gonna go in as fresh as possible. No expectations, nothing other than like the visual like thumbnails and stuff from like Instagram and all that stuff. So yeah. Ara, this is hopefully a hip hop song. What do you think? How are you feeling?
I'm hoping it's better than Rose's song.
On the ground.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that song is a very Taylor Swift Western pop song that I wouldn't say is a you or I favorite genre.
Yeah.
So, I will say I love Rose as just a person. If there was one person I would sacrifice my life for, I think, okay, I can stop. Anyways,
You.
I think the theme today for our conversation is simp. Any other news topics that stood out to you this week? Not too much, actually, aside from the thing with NCT, but up to you if you want to go into it a little bit.
No, not really. I'm not like a huge.
Yeah.
But I haven't really kept up. I've been busy.
Yeah, no worries. It's it was a news topic. I didn't really want to dwell on it too much, so I'm glad we got nothing else to add to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we send it over to Priss to talk about Girls Planet 999, let's get a weekly check-in from you, Aura. How's life going? How's everything before we head out of here?
It's going well. I finally moved back to my university city. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just like adjusting right now and working. But yeah.
You are super busy. You're saving lives, literally. If you'd like to share what you're doing, that's fine. If not, just know everyone, she is a literal superhero doing science. She is actually doing science. Let it be known. So yeah, and best of luck back in your college
Thank
town.
you.
Hopefully things chill out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can meet some friends soon. Like
Yeah.
it hasn't officially started, so I'm like waiting for college to start so then I can just go and meet friends, hang out, you know,
Yeah.
meet people.
Of course. Yeah, and it'll be nice to get into the swing of reality, IRL people.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
kind of being a little bit offline.
Kind of like just forgot how to interact with in real life people. So like first day of work, I was uh, not that great. I think my first impression was horrible.
How
But
how
yeah,
how do you words explain? Someone explain. How do words? Man. Well, it's okay. You guys are wearing masks anyways. You guys just have to focus in on
yeah,
your
but the awkward eye contacts. Oh my God,
I feel like
dying.
I feel that. I feel that like the daggers they're shot through the eyes even though it's being
Hmm.
covered by a mask and personal protective PPE, personal protective equipment, right? Is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, best of luck. We're all here for you. We got the State of the Nation channel.
Thank you.
Pour out your hearts and pour out your heart and soul to your heart's content. I think that was what I was trying to say.
Yes.
But yeah, and I do appreciate that you are able to come on and chat about K-pop every week. So thanks a lot, dude.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, so that does it for this week in Soju Talk Music. We are gonna head over to the Girls Planet 999 discussion with Priss. Thanks again, Ara.
Thank you.
Welcoming back to the show to talk Girls Planet 999, episode 4, all the way from South Korea and at work is Priss. Welcome to the show, Priss.
Hello.
All right, so we have episode 4, 7 performances in about 1.5 hours of show. So mostly music, mostly performances, a little bit of filler, not too much story. But the crew did a nice job talking about it and giving a great overview today on the main show. But yeah, we kind of just wanted to go in a little bit deeper on some of the things we liked, some of the things that stood out to us, and some of the moments that surprised us. So, Priss, what were your overall takeaways from this episode?
I guess a little disappointed because I feel like the episodes are getting shorter and shorter. One, like as we go, and since there were 7 performances, we didn't really get to see as much of the different teams. Like, I don't know how Eminent edited it, where they just focus on one specific member, and I feel like that's, especially with this like whole cell system, it's not going well because if you're only focusing on one person, what about the other people? Like if like one of them slacks, they can be eliminated basically.
Yeah, it's very light on story with the way it's focused and edited. I think they did also like go into it a bit at the end of the show this week about the cell system perhaps not being the best, being a little bit confusing as to which members or which contestants can make it through, which members who are actually like pretty good maybe like falling short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love it myself. It was interesting at first, but now kind of seeing how it's all playing out, it does feel like there's a big disparity with skill level and popularity level, and certain contestants being pulled through just because they're in certain cells, and then certain ones of our favorites who are kind of falling off because they're just not the same popularity. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's tricky, and we're going into elimination week, so this is it.
Oh
But
my god.
it's all about the journey. It's all about enjoying the time we had with some of these lovely trainees and idols. And I'm just kind of like here for the ride, especially this week with seven performances. So we had 7 stages. Yeah. Let's start with Fiesta. So the crew mentioned a couple things on the main show with Team 1 and Team 2. Was there anything notable about this battle that stood out to you? And which team, I guess, which team do you want to talk about first? I'll let you start.
Let's start with the first team. So team 2, the first ones to perform.
Okay. So I made a note. To me, this is the struggle bus team.
This is the leftovers.
This is man, I feel for all these girls. They're trying real hard, but yeah, no. Okay, so Priss, this is the struggle team. This is the leftovers. What happened? What did you think? And how did it come together for you?
I feel real bad because all of these girls are very unknown. I don't even remember most of their names. I just remember 3, which is Miyu, that had the high notes, that struggled real hard and prayed, her throat suffered so much for that high note. Hyunin Kai's younger sister, Hyunin Bahie, because obviously, and the center, Su Jimin. Those are the only 3 that I even remember. So I feel real bad that Eminent really edited just to focus on Miyu on their part, because I wouldn't be surprised if this whole team is gone except Bahie's. So, to be honest,
yeah, it's the editing did not do any favors to anyone on this side of the challenge.
It was very pity oriented.
Yeah, it was very sad, girl. I mean, I think they did at least try to give Ito and Miyu a little bit of the sympathy edit, because they kind of showed like she did feel the pressure about hitting that high note to the point where she strained her voice, and then she just wasn't able to pull through, even through evaluations, through rehearsals, and then all the way up until the stage,
the performance.
Yeah. And they were trying real hard, but the masters did not go easy on them. They just it was kind of rough how hard they laid into it.
There is this one girl, I don't know her name, but she has red hair. Hot mess. And the performance, I saw her fan cam, and she bumps into someone. I was like, girl, do you not know your formations on a performance?
So I have it written down. I'm gonna pronounce it in a very American phonetic way, just so then people can look it up. But it's Wang Q Ru. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Wang Q Ru. Qiu, and then RU is her first name. Last name's Wang or Wang. But yes, she definitely stood out because the red hair. 2, she got a lot of the, I guess lead vocal, sub vocal.
She only had 2 parts. She only sang 2 parts. Yeah, I know, because I was very meticulous with Fiesta.
Then she must have gotten the really the killing parts, because I noticed those parts were really rough. She got that. I think it was a part of the leading into the killing part. Okay, that makes sense, because it stood out so much, and I just I feel so bad for this girl. She just was put in a very difficult situation.
No, she shouldn't. She needs to go back to training, because no.
Damn. Okay, Priss being a hard master over here, which is cool. Sometimes we need the Tiffany scary face to really tell these girls, no.
The queen. I need to follow in her footsteps.
The Tiffany scary face is a real thing. But yes, so definitely feel for this group. Unfortunately,
I do want to say I do not agree with what Warren said about Bahia, because I watched a lot of comparison because Bahia had Mashiro's part, so a lot of people put them together to see the comparison of their singing parts, and there are some points that they're harmonizing, not all the time, It's very little, but it's like I don't feel like Bahia rushed the parts. I feel like she wasn't entirely on beat. Like we want to be really like technical, but I don't think she let the rushing into towards the end.
Yeah, Warren's comments were really interesting because I think he did try to at least give her a little bit of the spotlight in that performance, but then also kind of point out the, let's just say the, kind of the hot mess of like the other members in that situation, right? Where, yeah, she probably did perform a lot better than her teammates, but it kind of coalesced in a way where just everything surrounding her didn't do her any favors. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna basically state what Doug said, that she's a good member in a bad group, basically.
Yeah. I have to be honest. My personal feelings for the fact that she's getting a ton of votes because she is
that's
Kai's
something
sister.
separate. That's something separate.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I feel like her hype is also way too much. Like, just because she's pending Kai's sister shouldn't mean that she should be like second in voting or like top 9, because she's not there. Like, she's not. But she's stable. Like, I feel like where she is now in her training period, because she hasn't had a lot of training period, she's a good stable vocal. Like, that's a good like lead vocal.
Yeah.
Like, potential lead vocal. But like, to be top 9, no. I feel like that's a little too much.
But the thing is, like, it's top 9 now, but that also means that she's in the top half of the kids who are gonna make it.
Yeah,
and
her cell.
I don't think she's in the top half.
The Japanese member in her cell shouldn't even be moving forward.
Yeah,
but just because she's in her cell, like she's going.
Yeah, and that's where it's like kind of problematic, right? Where it's like, like she's really popular and she could be really good. She's got a lot of potential, but she's also pulling some kids who may not be as good, you know.
The Chinese group member in Bahia's cell is actually pretty good. I watched her fan cam and she's visually like nice looking. She has an idol look, and she has somewhat stable vocals. It's just the J group member that I'm like, no girl, you need to go home.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the thing is, like, they're all gonna make it.
Yeah, because of Bahia's.
So it's a thing, right? So we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Let's quickly move on to Team 1. So on the main show, they did praise them quite a bit. They said a lot, and I agreed with most of it.
Same.
Let me just go through kind of the shout out the standouts. That's the phrase. We have Sakamoto Mashiro, excellent center, excellent leader. Kang Yeso, I see it now, I get it.
Same.
Huang Xinkao. Xinkao. She did really well. Nagomi. That's what I'll go with. Nagomi did well. And then Lee Sunwoo were some of the other standouts. Was there anything from the main show that you agreed with, disagreed with, or had different ideas about?
I feel like I do agree with what the show said about Team 1, because they had a lot of main vocals. Like they had a strong main vocal lineup to pick. Like, they didn't have only one. They had like several to be like, okay, let's audition. I feel like Mashiro was a really good center. She's still lacking a little bit in emotions and on like facial expressions. So I just wish that she can break her. I think she has like a barrier, like a shell, because she's been like through a lot throughout her training life. I feel like she's scared to like open up. Right now I feel like she's just like focus, movements, vocals. Like, I feel like if she just opens up a little bit with her facial expressions, she'll be killer. Like, she's gonna debut. And so I feel like she did shine. I also like the crying segment and stuff. Really brought pity votes.
Yeah,
but,
the sympathy edit.
Yeah, the sympathy edit. But I think I even from her auditions, I was already like, oh, she's good. Like, she was good. I already knew she was good. I feel like Um, with Ting Kiao, I feel like the edit was a little too much. Like, it's just Eminent is just shooting on these C group members. Like, honestly, I don't feel like she was that bad. She was bad, but she wasn't as bad as they made her seem. I just feel like they were doing like trying to do the underdog view, like the underdog edit on her. So when she performed, she looked even more amazing.
Yeah, I think she definitely had it in her. And
Yeah.
I think just from what we know about Mashiro and Yeseo, I do feel like they elevated her and they were able to like bring that out of her as far as like team chemistry and cohesion, because it did feel very fluid. If they never showed the evaluation edit, I would not have guessed that she was struggling.
Yeah. Again, Korean is a hard language, and especially if it's not like your first language, it's already hard to sing, let alone sing in a different language.
Yeah. No, I think overall the edits, of course, are trying to make you feel things, and like they're trying to like insert different elements of story, but I do think this is probably like one of the better performances, even though they did mention that the beginning was a little. Was it the beginning for this one that was a little rough?
I think
Or was it another performance? I might have gotten my notes mixed up there, but
no, I think it might be another performance. I think it was the fifth season performance.
Okay. Yeah, I think overall this one's like one of the stronger performances of the entire.
Yeah,
The
they had
entire
really good
challenge.
vocalists.
Yeah. Well, nice. All right. Well, let's move on to that performance with the fifth season. The team
Season-
1 and
the
2.
twins.
Yes, splitting up the twins conflict. All right. Let's at the top. Let's just say Anita. You know, she has a heart. She has a soul. She likes the twin story.
I love the twins. I was voting for them in the beginning.
You are very kind. You are a very kind and generous woman.
Their audition was so cute. How can you not love them?
I can find a way, but I'm not gonna be that person to poo poo on your parade. But Doug hates the twins.
I know.
That's cool, Doug. It's cool. I see that too. I see both sides of it. I'm not here to make a casting vote. I'm just objectively in the middle. But let's start with team 1. So this is the one that the crew mentioned was not perfect at the beginning, a little awkward, but they pulled it together. What did you think about the performance and how it all came together at the end?
Team 1 with Kimbora, right?
Yes, Kimbora. Yep.
Oh my god, the outfits. The stylist need new stylist. 1, 2. Kimbora is just queen. Like, she has to. If she doesn't debut, I'm gonna be her fan. Like, I'm gonna ride that train back to, was it Cherry Bullet?
Yeah, Cherry Bullet.
Cherry Bullet. I'm gonna go on the Cherry Bullet train and learn all of the other members' names, because I didn't know. Like, I didn't like. If I would have known that like they had a vocalist on Cherry Bullet like Kimbora, I would have been art stan. Like right now.
Yeah, she's an excellent vocalist. Doug had posted a few videos in the channel. I think it was last night when we were all just hanging out there. One with Bora on stage. I forget what show it was that she was doing, but she was killing it. And
Amazing.
So, kind of an aside that they did mention, it'll be interesting if the Cherry Bullet girls do make it to debut with this group, because if they don't, then they could just ride the high into Cherry Bullet.
It would be another West.
Yeah, it would be very much like just, allowing Cherry Bullet to succeed on their own now that these 3 have the popularity they got from the show and were able to show their abilities, right? I think that's like the cool part about how it's all playing out. I had something came to mind when I was watching the group stuff and Bora organizing everyone. Do you feel like she was the best leader of every group?
Oh my gosh. I was literally like waiting for you to pause, because how she taught the dance, I wish I had a teacher like that. Like as a dancer, like when I'm younger, because she made learning fun. Like, she was like the move where it's like your chin is resting on your hands, and she's like flower, because a lot of Koreans, one of that pose is like flower. it represents a flower. So she's like, oh, pretty flower. Like she made learning the choreography for like the foreign like C group and J group so much fun. She was very stable. I applaud her on her leadership skills and knowing how to teach like people that like don't understand, like because I understand being in another country learning choreography and they're just speaking like their native language. So like when I was in Hong Kong, they were speaking Cantonese. I obviously don't know Cantonese, so I was just visually like I had to visually focus. And now in Korea, they speak like Korean. I don't know Korean well, so it's like I have to really focus on like the other like the teacher's body language. But she made it so amazing that like they didn't have to really focus on her visually because she made sure that they all understood her communically, like talking wise.
A lot of really good gestures, teaching strategies, and visual symbols to get across the performance, the choreography, and then also just being really personable. I think she, again, thank you, edit, but I think she felt the most personable of all the leaders of every one of these performances. Again, not to say that some were bad, but she stood out the most for me.
She had the most leadership skills from everybody that I saw. That Eminent allowed us to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Seasoned veteran for sure, just like Doug mentioned.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, for team 2, we have Ireon. She tried her heart out. I will just give her all the props to that. But unfortunately, some things didn't pan out too well.
It was too much pressure. It was too much pressure.
A lot. She didn't get as much out of her team as Bora did. I think the harmonizing between Choa-eun and her
I feel like
was tough.
I feel like them putting the two groups in the same room is just not for me, because I feel like Rayon's confidence just lowered seeing how good Bora was as a leader and how she wasn't as good like teaching her group because they were struggling learning choreography and stuff. So I wish they would separate them, like put them in different groups, because I would hate to be in my competitors like the same practice room and like them see us struggle while they're like amazing.
Yeah, it's another obstacle for a lot of the groups, right? And it's like one of those tipping points because
not just
I feel like some groups were able to kind of overcome that, and in this case it was very clear that the other group was watching the other practices while it was happening. So tough for them, but
not to say that team 1 was perfect, because they weren't.
Yeah.
But like it's just a struggle, like seeing someone that you're supposed to be on the same position and seeing someone better than you, and it's just like to your confidence that just isn't great.
Yeah, and there's added pressure when you're doing the same song, right?
Yeah,
and you're doing the same choreography and all the bass is the same, but it's how you lead your team and how you add your own flavor, your own twist to it. And Bora's team kind of just excelled and did their thing, did the best with what they were given, kind of thing. So excellent work there. And team 2, I think there's some girls who are going to be safe in team 2, but we'll kind of see how that plays out.
Yeah,
on Friday.
I'm scared. I don't want the twins to separate. I want them to stay together.
Doug wants it. Doug wants the chaos. I kind of want the chaos too. So
no,
we'll see how that plays out. All right. Let's move on now to EBS, EXO, BTS, and 17. So let's start with mic drop. Okay.
Oh gosh.
So the evaluation was a struggle, but we got a good stage. How do you think it all played out and came together?
It wasn't okay, I'm gonna say it wasn't a good stage for me personally as an ARMY. It was okay.
What was it that was kind of missing for you?
The energy. Like the whole point of mic drop is the energy. You putting your mindset is like, I am the best. Like they literally say like look at all these trophies I have in my bag. Like we're the best of the best, and they were not giving me were the best vibes. They were very like no confidence, going through the motion. They were just trying to pull through. I feel like they knew they already lost even before performing, so they were just like, let's just get this over with type of vibe.
I do feel like there's a handful that showed up, and then there's the others that were a little overwhelmed, that the stage was a little bit too big for them.
There was another redhead girl that was not giving it to me again.
I don't have that name. I have Red Pants Girl. I have Choi Hedin, Red Pants, and she ended the song with the mic drop. I felt like her energy was pretty solid throughout.
Yeah.
And then I did have Crop Top, Lin Chen Han. She opened the song. So,
No, she was specific. The redhead girl was specifically wearing like a bandana, a black bandana style top. But
was she wearing
she
one
was,
overall?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
So I have An Jung Min. So she had the one overall and bandana. She had a couple good lines. I felt she also had a lot of lines, so that may have added to a lot of the pressure that she felt on stage. She wasn't able to fully reach that. But I mean, overall, I can see the energy level not matching the other groups, but there were a couple pretty good standouts that I think should be safe. But then again, I just honestly don't know how it's all going to play out. Any other notes from the crew and the way they talked about the stage and the performance?
I agree with Warren how it's like this, like how we had Hellbaya, but this was like, it was not like the cringy laugh type of performance. This was very like I can't. This is a train wreck. Like this is not good type of performance. I just felt like they should have just picked another song because they had a chance to pick another song.
I will say the evaluation set you up for it to be really bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It wasn't as bad as
because they stopped him. Like they just said, stop. We're done. I was like, oh.
Oh, it's because most of them didn't even know the next part. They were all like looking at each other. So then they were just like, stop the music. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
But at least when they got on stage, they were able to perform the song. Yeah.
Like if I was an instructor and like you're expected to have a certain amount of choreography learned and you don't, I would be mad too.
Yeah. No, I mean, granted, it was the midweek evaluation, but all the other teams figured it out by then. At least some semblance of it, right? And only had a few things to work through. Like,
just to say that a judge went down to give them, like, a boost of, like, fighting, like, hey, Sisa, like, you got this. It just says a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was an uphill battle to begin with. And I think that was one of the leftover teams as well, right? They were one of the last teams to put together the cells.
I think so.
So I mean, I think they even said they picked that song because they wanted to go for the big swing, which that's commendable. But then at the same time, you see the evaluation, you're like, oh, okay, I think you went a little too far.
If I was a contestant, I would have not, even just looking at the Eve members, I would not even try. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's well. I mean, they're kids, so maybe they have like some semblance of delusional confidence, which I guess you kind of have to have if you want to be an idol.
Yeah,
but
you have to have it.
Not in this case, unfortunately. All right, well, let's talk about the surprise of the episode.
Not to me.
This one, I mean, because you know where I stand with my loyalty. So, Pretty You.
Oh my gosh, this song in general is just so good.
So
and
a lot to unpack, but let me kind of set the tone a little bit for this. I feel like this is a song that was, I shouldn't say best, but is really fitting for a female performance.
For sure.
And I think that just like accentuated all of the strengths of all of the members in this group. Priss,
I love how they didn't change the lyric. I love how they didn't change the she to he. They kept the lyrics. They didn't change it, which
because it turns into a friendship song at that point.
Yeah. I feel like just from episode 3, like they showed their group dynamic. I felt like they had one of the best teamwork and energy. Like out of every other group, I feel like they were the best, and they were not the best, but I feel like they were I guess one of the best of when it comes to teamwork and communication. They how they separated their lines was super easy, super fast. They were just like, oh, like this person this line, this person this line, this person this line. Everybody was happy. Like that's like so rare.
The team chemistry felt really natural compared to the other teams where it was almost a debate,
battle.
A battle or a debate within the team to figure out how to compose the song.
Yeah.
Let's kind of shout out the leader situation and Mia. The leader, her name is
Lee Yujin.
Lee Yujin. Nice. Yeah, shout out to her because one on stage she had the overalls, she had pigtails, the purple clip, pretty cute, pretty bubbly. I can see her just saying, "No, I want this," but then when Sunday came through,
I feel like she put on her big girl pants and accepted I'm not the member because Sunmi wanted Maya. Maya. I don't know if it's Mia or Maya.
Let's just go with your heart.
Okay, Maya. What's it called? That she saw like, okay, yes, she has the energy for center. She's like I'm gonna agree. And I thought it was super cute because like Mia was just like don't cry, because like she can tell that she was gonna cry after the evaluation, and she also had a hurt foot. The leader had a hurt. I saw that she had a cast on her foot. What's it called? So she cried. She had her tears, but she's like, we're gonna change centers for the good of the team, because they know that they need these votes. Like for the good of the team, I'm giving up my spot and giving it to her because it's what's best. It's what the masters recommend. So we should trust the masters' point of view and idea. And I feel like it was perfect. Maya was perfect center.
It was really instructional about the idea of reading the room, reading your members, and also the synergy you have with the people that you're working with, right? Where it's not always just about who can perform the best or who can outdo each other on stage. It's how best you complement each other. And I feel like that was a really nice example that doesn't happen too often on these shows because there isn't that innate drama. But I think it's just really heartwarming to see, and especially getting the 15-year-old kid that front and center killing moment, and now it's one of the most memorable moments of this show. So I think,
and I feel like every person, every member of this group gave it their all. They had the energy. They knew their parts really well. They knew what parts to play when, and this was just a really, really well done performance.
Yeah, going off of that, I think there was a lot of great acting and characterization in this performance that was far beyond, I think, almost all the groups. I think maybe one or two. I think the Yes or Yes teams did a really nice job keeping those characters, but this one in particular with Pretty You, especially in EBS, they all played a part. They were all very musical with how they interacted with each other on stage, and I think that's what made them stand apart from everyone else.
I think because Pretty You had the most acting, because with Yes or Yes it's just facial expressions, and with Pretty You it was just acting, reading the book, on the couch, hanging out with your friends. I feel like they were the best with the whole acting and portraying a musical.
Yeah. A couple shout outs here for Yang Zigi. So she had the red hair, blue and pink striped top, and she started on the couch as well with the leader. And then we have Ikema Ruin. So she had the denim romper. I noticed her. So she had the notebook. She was really cool. And then Warren mentioned her at the end as having
her voice. She has a low tone voice. So good.
She sang really well. So she stood out to me a lot too. I really liked her performance.
Her voice really surprised me.
Yeah. Safe to say, I think all 9 of these girls will probably make it to the next round. Triple votes.
I don't know.
With those triple votes, man, that's meaningful.
It is meaningful, but none of these members are like heavy hitters, so I'm scared. I want all of these girls to move on, but I'm really scared because they really focused on Maya and not the other members.
Yeah, so I mean, the hope is that there's spillover, but I think it is also up in the air with just how Mnet scores things and the uncertainty for how
It's just
these things
the
plays out.
editing.
Yeah,
It's the editing.
but overall, great surprise, lovely performance, and something very
Amazing.
memorable for me especially. All
I
right,
said it from last episode that one of the EVs was one of my favorites, and it wasn't the Eve.
well, I mean, I get it. You also aren't too much of a fan, but let's move on into the Eve. So, with the Eve, you aren't too much of a fan of a couple of those members. I'm just gonna say at the very top, we have Suryuchi and Izaki Hikaru opening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before I was able to objectively look at everything, I saw that opening shot and I'm just like, yeah, girls, let's go. But the drama, everything leading up to it. All
It
right.
fell apart.
How did it play for you? What were your thoughts and feelings going into it? And just take me through what you saw in the performance.
From following from the teasers until the performance, I was very disappointed with their performance because the teaser made it seem like, oh my god, this is gonna be the performance of the night. Like they left it towards the end. This is gonna be the performance, and it wasn't. Just not even including the whole evil editing that happened. I felt what the masters were saying, that they were trying to one up each other.
Yeah, and they mentioned it on the main show too. I think that was a really nice point
Yeah.
that Doug made. That it was Dahyun. She when her part came in after
like Fu Yaning, Suichi, and Dahyun, them three were fighting
very
for the
aggressive,
spotlight.
very aggressive visuals.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, it was the vocal part that Doug mentioned. It was Jiyoon. So she had an excellent vocal section, and then as soon as Dahyun came in, it was just like, I'm gonna outsing you, even though we're on the same team. And I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, that happens. You're really loud.
I feel like Hikaru really, from her audition to now to the Eve, it really went she didn't give me as much as I wanted from what I got from Bumbaya to now. She felt very backup vocal. It was very sad because she's one of my favorites in the J group.
I have a kind of a mental connection that I made as I was listening to the main show today. And Warren pointed out that a leader's job isn't to make decisions, but it's to get everyone on the same page. And I think that falls on Fu Yaning not recognizing that Hikaru should be a lot more prominent in this performance.
Yes. But it's also I don't like her whole you can only audition for one spot. Why? Why can you only audition for one spot? I feel like that's how Hikaru didn't get a vocal part that would have suited her best. Because she only had a chance to choose one. I would be upset. Yes, the whole being the oldest, you should respect it. But there's a lot of K-pop groups that the oldest is not the leader.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind her being a leader. It's that she put a very rigid system in, which again,
I mind.
Yeah, I mean they're all gonna agree to it because you kind of want to be collaborative, but then the fact that she wasn't flexible in return made this really rigid system where it's you could only get one part, but then we can't talk about it. But then you agree to it, so this is all we get. And then they ended up switching it out anyways, leading to the most awkward evaluation ever. All right, so the line that I got was, "You gonna talk to a wall?" When Dahyun turned around and started crying. What is happening? I don't know. Priss, help me understand what happened.
I feel bad for Dahyun because of the evil editing, but I feel like she had to say, I feel like she had to say it to the masters because Fu Yaning wasn't listening to her. They had already talked, she already cried, and they were okay, we're gonna change the parts, don't worry. or no. I think it was like, oh, like you agreed to this, and she's like, okay, like fine, like this is the part that I got, and it's like when the masters were like, why, like, did what happened? Like, why are you guys singing it like this? Like, what's going on? And that's when she like laughed and like turned around and cried, because I feel like she did speak up, not entirely, but I feel like with Fu Yaning's like authoritative leadership, it was very close. I feel like no one can speak, and that's why when they did the voting where it's like who wants to change their parts, and it was everybody but Surichi and Fu Yaning that raised their hand, and she's like, I didn't know that everybody was not happy with their part. Well, obviously, because you didn't let anybody talk, you didn't let anybody like open up to you. You were very super authoritative, like leadership, and that's why I minded her being the leader, because she doesn't have leadership skills.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me it's like a spectrum, right? Where it's like I didn't mind her being a leader in a vacuum, right? It's like, okay, it's understandable. It's like you're the oldest, you have experience, but then it's up to her to read the room, kind of like what the crew said, right? Because she kind of needs to listen to everyone and be like, okay, I think I'm messing up here. But then it's also up to Diane to be like, yo, like you're messing up. And like
No, but
for
like,
other people to kind of figure out, because ultimately, like, I agree with the masters. It's like, this is not our problem. You guys figure it out. It's like, don't tell us this. We don't need to hear this, because that's like, one, it's like embarrassing for her, and then two, it's again like team chemistry needs to be handled in house. It's like, yeah.
But I feel like there was more that happened, because with teasers, like we saw Suichi when they were like looking at the choreography. I don't remember who like wanted to see the choreography. She's like, no, go away. Like in the teaser, and we didn't see that. I feel like just when Fu Yaning asked if they wanted to change parts, and everybody but Suichi and her raised their hands, just show that Suichi just cares about herself, which because she has the center part and she has the like most killing parts, and Fu Yaning because she gave herself the part that she wanted because she's the leader, obviously. I just feel like that Dahyun she shot herself in the foot because she chose these cells.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both ultimately for me, because one, I can also see that it's not up to Surichi to be responsible for everyone else. And then two, for Fu Yaning, they set it up where it's everyone selected the people to be in those roles, right? So she put herself up for after it, but then everyone like votes for it. So it's the team consensus.
Well, the first time they only could audition once. So it's like if you didn't get your part, then you just got the leftover parts. The second time, they did secret vote, where they voted what they think each member's part should be. And that's how they got the final performance, because they had to do a secret vote. Like, to the point where they had to do a secret vote just shows that they don't feel comfortable talking to their team members.
Yeah. But again, I do feel like that's a growing lesson for being a young person, right? Because like, you're not comfortable, but then you still need to work it out. Because ultimately it showed on stage. I will say, I feel like go ahead.
This group was just fighting to stay alive, basically. This was the group that showed it the most.
I think this group had the sense of like having a chip on their shoulder when they didn't have to be, because they were so good. And so a couple shout outs to these three performers that felt like they were the most relaxed of anyone on stage. So we had Shana, we had Sooyeon, and we had Jiyun. They were great. Vocals were excellent and solid. Expressions weren't too much, and then great control, great characterizations, great flow within the performance. Unfortunately, having to counterbalance some of the other elements of the performance.
Was strong. Yes, I feel like they had the perfect. They had the parts that they had were perfect for them. Like they killed it. They gave it what they needed. not over, not under. They gave it exactly what that part needed, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, and it turned out, I think their parts turned out really well. But again, it did feel a little siloed in that.
Compared to the strong energy.
It felt like you had 9 performers all trying to perform separate performances at the same time.
It felt like 9 solos performed at the same time.
Yeah. Well put. Well put. All right. Yeah, so the end of that was Pretty You taking the crown, taking the win, which was excellent. And then it was Pretty You against Team One Yes or Yes, which big surprise again that was the final 2, but really fun to watch because you had the 2 bubblegum groups. And we had Yes or Yes take the M Countdown challenge, which is very exciting. Do you know when that performance is going to air by any chance?
No, but I do have a question though. Because elimination is happening this week, and we probably won't get M Countdown this week because of eliminations, what if some of these girls get eliminated? Of Yes or Yes.
I'm not gonna put my conspiracy theory hat on. I'm just gonna say they'll figure it out.
Like, are they gonna input other members? Are they gonna keep the people until they perform on M Countdown and then let them leave? Like, what is Mnet gonna do?
I think they would probably just bring them all back.
But with quarantine and stuff, no, they would have to make them stay in Korea.
Yeah. Well, it depends on when M Countdown is, right? So if they eventually, if it's only next week, then I'm sure they figure it out a way where they can keep them around for at least 1 or 2 more weeks after the elimination, if they do get eliminated. So I think there's room. There's some wiggle room in when this is going to happen, but chances are they're going to either keep them in Korea or
we're gonna have to keep them in Korea.
They won't be eliminated. Cough, cough. Tinfoil hat. Conspiracy theory. All right.
I hope they stay.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts about this week's episode and how it's all turning out so far? Anything you're hoping for after elimination?
I hope that they distribute the performances better, because I was not having the 7, like, an hour and 30 minutes for like 7 performances and barely any story. The reason that we loved Produce was because of the juicy story that was happening, like all the spice. This was very rushed. I felt like you were running a marathon, but you didn't train for a marathon. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's too much happening right now.
It does feel like some of the story is lacking, and this is just my like hypothesis. Well, that was hard to say. Hypothesis. But I think they're trying to use the cells as a way to like garner votes without telling story. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then that's unfair. Like,
it's a crappy system. Like, I hate it. I think it's kind of dumb.
I hope after the first elimination, cells are gone.
I hope they figure out something else.
Because how are they gonna do because the next after the first elimination, it should be, if it's gonna be like Produced, it should be positions. So vocals, rap, dance. If they're in sales, how are they going to do that?
Yeah, hopefully they figure out a more specific way to highlight member qualities, because again, like, you do want a good composition at the end of the show, not just like, 9 do-it-alls kind of thing.
I still predict it's going to be 5 Koreans, 2 Chinese, 2 Japanese members. I still see it. I feel like it's going to
that'll be wild. Jeez. That would be opposite of everything they've set up so far. Which
exactly.
Would
it's
be
evident.
Ridiculous, but at the same time, I don't put it past them. Oof. All right. Well, Priss, this has been a nice extended conversation. A little behind the scenes, peek behind the curtain. We've had a lot of technical issues this week. But we powered through.
Yes.
We're here. And I do appreciate you joining me all the way from Korea, all the way from work this morning for you. All right. So to close it out, thank you everyone for listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 34. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify or your preferred podcast platform, and continue the conversation on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord. This has been the SojuTalk Nation. For Priss, Ara, and Malfiar. This is Crispy. Bye.
Bye.